Now, originally, I was prepared to go and talk about another animated feature that was considered to be lost and then got a second chance with the sequel to The Adventures of Tintin. And I was ready to go and discuss about the possibility of having a return and like when it would be coming out and all that kind of stuff and a little bit of its history. But just this morning, as I am recording this, there was a bit of a breaking news that occurred, and this is one that honestly was a bit of a shock for animation fans, and still quite a shock to this day, because this is a person whom, I'll say right now, if you've watched a cartoon in the 2000s, or that if you grew up in the 2000s, you have seen at least one project that included this guy over here. And I will even say myself, yeah, I've definitely seen a bunch of stuff that included his voice, especially with how familiar, you know, how distinctly familiar that it can be. And I will say that, yeah, it is definitely quite a sad loss. So with that said, let's go and discuss about the passing of Tom Kane. Yes, Tom Kane, the prolific voice actor behind numerous of shows, movies, video games, franchises, and many, many more, has sadly passed away at the age of 64. Now, what happened was that you may have recalled back in late 2020, I believe it was specifically November of 2020, when Tom Kane unfortunately suffered a stroke, and it pretty much made the entire right side of his body just non-functional. So at that point, he sadly had to go into an early retirement. And from there, his kids would go and provide updates on his health and how things are going. And even though he could no longer do voice acting, he still showed up in conventions and meeting fans and stuff like that. He was still great to be around and great to meet and stuff like that. But it wasn't until recently when the stroke did cause complications and he unfortunately has passed, which is what we have heard today. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with who Tom Kane is, as I said before, he is one of the most prolific actors who have worked, at least during his time. And back in like the early 2000s, like some of the 90s even, like he was one of those voices that was just about everywhere. And probably the most common place where you would go and hear him is actually in Cartoon Network, in which probably his most well-known role was actually in the Powerpuff Girls, where he played as Professor Utonium, as well as numerous of other characters in the show itself. Like he was also the voice of him. He also played the talking dog, as well as several others as well. In fact, I actually got his not IMDb, but his Wikipedia page, and this pretty much highlights all the stuff that he has done. And you'll see, like, this is like a never-ending list of shows, movies, games, and so much more that he provided the voice, especially like video games. My God, he has a massive list. So like talking about like what he has done with Cartoon Network, for example. Well, of course, he did the Powerpuff Girls, but then at the same time, he was also in Cow Chicken. He was in Johnny Bravo. He did Ben 10. He did Codename Kids Next Door and The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And not to mention, he was also in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, where he was the voice of Mr. Harriman, and just and like so much more. Like and oh, Star Wars. Okay, I'll might as well also get into Star Wars, because that's also one of the biggest things that he actually voiced. He was very prominent in terms of lending his voice throughout the Star Wars franchise. And probably his most iconic role that he has played was actually in Genndy Tartakovsky's Star Wars Clone Wars, where he was actually the voice of Yoda and actually did a pretty solid impersonation. Like, he did very well to go and emulate what Frank Oz did in those movies. And this is not even to mention, like, if you go down the list of all the video games he's done, you will see so many times that, like, just Star Wars just popping up. And he has also done, like, many different voices, not just like miscellaneous ones, but at the same time, like, he also did some iconic characters in there too, not just Yoda, but he was also in, like, he also did Boba Fett. He also did C-3PO. Even going down, like, you'll see, like, just 2002, like, he did several Star Wars games out there. And this is not even to mention, like, he also did other voices as well. Like, he even did a Lord of the Rings game where he was Gandalf, actually. And there was also Admiral Akbar that he provided the voice. And not just for that, by the way. He also worked on some of the movies as well, where he was Admiral Akbar in The Last Jedi, as well as being Admiral Akbar in the Star Tours ride. He was also Akbar in there too. And speaking of movies, another voice that you may recognize him from is actually the Sony Smurfs movies, where he was actually narrator Smurf. And this is not even to mention, like, some of the other things he has done outside of Cartoon Network and Star Wars. Like, you probably remember him also, like, with Disney, he was the voice of Lord Monkey Fist in Kim Possible, or even in Nickelodeon, actually. Like, another prominent role that he actually voiced was Darwin in The Wild Thornberrys. And not to mention, like, he was also in Cat Dog as Evil Eric, and and this is just a handful of examples that he has done. And then, like, you also got other stuff like like he was also in Archer, where he was the voice of Woodhouse and Hans Hessler. And then, like, keep on going, like, you'll see, like, definitely a lot more, like, different Star Wars stuff that he would go and do his voice. But then at the same time, like, in video games, like, he also did a lot of Call of Duty, he did a lot of Call of Duty stuff as well. He was also in, like, he also did Warhammer games. He also was in, he did Batman Arkham Asylum, where he was also the voice of Jim Gordon. And I mean, he was also a part of, like, Marvel, where he did some Marvel games where he voiced, like, Ultron and Magneto and a few others as well. And I mean, the list goes on and on. Honestly, I could go on forever with the kind of with the voiceover roles that Tom Kane would go and do. Like, with everything that I've listed, you've probably recognized at least one of them. And the thing that makes Tom Kane really stand out as a voiceover actor is really the richness in his voice. Like, he has the kind in which it could really be multifunctional, where it's just naturally that announcer type voice that you would often go and hear, which he definitely made bank on that, by the way. Like, he has definitely done tons of different announcer jobs and narration jobs throughout the years. In fact, he has actually done some work as well, in which he was actually the announcer during the Academy Awards as well, on several occasions, by the way. He was the announcer at the Oscars back in 2006, 2008, as well as 2011 and in 2013. So, like, he has definitely done a lot of those voiceover works. So, he definitely has that kind of voice. In fact, I would even say, like, this is the go-to style of voice that you can imagine that is kind of this this narrator or announcy like voice. And just to go and highlight, like, a few examples, if we would just go and, like, if we would take a listen, for example, like, just, have a moment to go and hear, like, him as Professor Utonium, easily his most iconic role.
All our troubles seem so far away. Now it seems they're here to stay. What will Townsville do when they look for the girls with the sun in their eyes and they're gone? The future.
I was just listening to that and I was like, what the fridge is going on here? I know that there was one episode that they did a bunch of Beatles reference, but just hearing like Professor Utonium talking to the girls there, and I was just there like, wait a minute. Like, I get, okay, maybe this is like a heartfelt moment. No, this is just Professor Utonium just reading Beatles lyrics right there. But that is just one example. And like, you could like Professor Utonium, you could definitely hear that richness in his voice. And not to mention that even though it's very announcery, it could still work very well for characters. And that's why with Professor Utonium, he is often regarded as like one of the most beloved cartoon fathers out there, because like he definitely provided a lot of heart when it comes to taking care of the girls. And this is not even to mention about many of the other roles that he has done. Like, in fact, like, since we got Yoda right over here, let's go and listen to like his role that he did.
It's not yours yet. Tempted I will not be.
Not bad, I gotta say. Like, that is a pretty solid, like, honestly, they picked a good one in terms of like getting someone else other than Frank Oz in order to do that voice. Like, that is honestly great. And then of course, like, we also got Darwin over here. Let's have a little bit of an example of that too.
Small yet charming. Not much in the way of natural light, but haven't we really had enough of nature?
Yeah, and that's honestly another great example, by the way, with Tom Kane, is that he also does very well in terms of having that sophisticated voice. And I wouldn't just say that with Darwin, but also with Mr. Harriman as well. Like, he does very well, like, with that kind of posh gentleman-like voice. Like, he nailed it, like, especially with those with those characters. And I just want to see if there are some other examples to go and see, because like there are definitely some great ones out there. Here, you know what? Like, let's have another one, like, just spice things up. Like, this is him, like, since I mentioned it, this is him as Jim Gordon in Arkham Asylum.
He's got something else down there. I don't know what it is.
Students are...
Oh, that's it. Wait, is that it? Just want to go and double check.
And listen, we're not alone. He's got something else down there. I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. So that literally was it then. Okay. Just want to make sure. But like, yeah. And he also like, he does well in terms of like the tough gruffness right there. And with that, you know, and with the style of voice that he has, like, of course, like, naturally it's just very smooth, but he knows how to go and make it rough for characters like Jim Gordon right there. So that is honestly just one of the many examples that he would go and have in terms of the voiceover work that he would go and do. And I'm sure, like, I even see in the chat, like, some people are even bringing up like a lot of different examples that he would do, especially like with Disney. One that some people are even bringing up, for those of you who did grow up with DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that, some people have mentioned, yes, he was also the voice of Disney Fast Play. Whenever your DVD or your Blu-ray would go and tell you about the Fast Play feature, that was actually Tom Kane who would go and provide the voice. So yeah, like, as I said before, like, Tom Kane as a voice actor, he has such an admirable career. Like, he has the dream career for voice actors out there, where he's like a jack of all trades, where his voice is perfect for whatever is out there, rather it be for animation, rather it be for video games, like for character voices. He's got it good. He's got it good for narration. He's got it good. In fact, and that would be another example I could go and show you. I'm not a fan of these movies at all, but I might as well go and just also highlight his narration work with what he has done with the Smurfs as well.
There is a place that knows no sadness.
See, like, even there, like, his, like, being a narrator or an announcer, he nailed it. Like, rather it be for, whether it be for promos, for commercials, for characters, for whatever, for whatever that you may need. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Kane has maybe done audiobooks, because honestly, he has like a beautiful voice for that. I can imagine he would have he would definitely do well with audiobooks there, but he really, like I said, he has the kind of voice where it's just the jack of all trades. And it's really unfortunate, like not just the fact that he passed, but also that he had that stroke as well, that unfortunately took away that ability from him. It really is sad, honestly, because that, like, he had a good few, he still had like a good amount of years on him to still provide the richness of his voice. And before I pass this on to you all, I might as well go and present a little thing that he has done. One that, honestly, this was also a big surprise for me. Like, I didn't know that was his voice, because before I always thought it was like Jeremy Irons or something, because with what I'm about to present to you, he does a British voice for some reason, but it is a very heartfelt one as well. And that is specifically for the Magic Kingdom nighttime show, Happily Ever After. So I just want to go and present to you a little message from Tom Kane himself, and just a little thing for you to remember him by, and something that, if you want to honor him, do what he says here.
And so our journey comes to an end, but yours continues on. Grab hold of your dreams and make them come true, for you are the key to unlocking your own magic. Now go, let your dreams guide you. Reach out and find your happily ever after.
Like I said, I always thought that was Jeremy Irons for some reason, but no, that actually was Tom Kane. And not to mention, by the way, with Happily Ever After, I just want to go, just let out my Disney side, and I want to say, top tier Disney nighttime music. Oh my God. It just hearing the whole show is just absolutely phenomenal. And not to mention, the song itself of Happily Ever After is definitely a banger itself. So yeah, just want to go and mention that. But anyways, with that said, now I would like to pass this on to the chat wall, and I want to go and ask you all, do you have any memories in relation to a character with Tom Kane? Who is your favorite character voiced by Tom Kane, and what performance will you remember him by the most? So you can feel free to go and express your memories in the chat. Let's see now. Not something I wanted to hear on my birthday. People throw around legend a lot, but Tom Kane truly was one of the Mount Rushmore of voiceovers. From Professor Utonium and him in the Powerpuff Girls to Yoda, Yularen, and the Clone Wars narrator, his voice was everywhere. Also learning, he also voiced the Disney Parks Transportation and Happily Ever After. That image of him with his perfect little girls is from a few months back, makes it even more bittersweet. He'll be deeply missed, and may he rest in peace. Oh, that is true. That is true. I should show that, actually, because this was actually the last thing that was posted to him on Instagram. It's him and the original voices of the Powerpuff Girls all reunited. It was during a convention, I believe, and they're just all together, just hanging out with Tom Kane. It's it's sad to see right now, because he is gone, but it is also a very sweet one as well. All right, so let's see what we got in the chat also. Damn, this was a huge loss. Tom Kane was really a talented voice actor and was also a really caring father. And the fact that he passed away a month after reuniting with the cast of the Powerpuff Girls makes it more heartbreaking, but also very heartfelt that he got to see his girls one last time. May he rest in peace, and we will truly miss him. Yeah, definitely nice. Let's see. I will sorely miss Tom Kane. He's one of the goats of voice acting in the industry. I know him in the Powerpuff Girls and Kim Possible, but also in commercials and trailers as well. But I bet everyone will forever know him as the main announcer of Disney Fast Play. I and everyone are having finding the remote while Tom is giving up an option. But yeah, may he rest in peace. His career will forever live on in memory. He is undeniably legendary. You know, I think for me, like now thinking about it, like even though, yeah, like I'm definitely a Disney guy, but for me, I would say that the role that I'm going to remember him the most is easily going to be Professor Utonium. Like, yeah, like he's definitely done some other great performances like with him or even in other shows like with Mr. Harriet. But for me, I think like my top performance that is going to be the first thing I'll think about with Tom Kane is going to be Professor Utonium. Let's see now. What other comments do we have here? As an animation fan, I'm sad to hear that Tom Kane passed away today. I do remember his performance as the professor and others in Powerpuff Girls, Darwin in Thornberrys, Monkey Fist in Kim Possible, and Yoda also in trailers like Despicable Me and Mr. Peabody and Sherman. And yes, even the Disney Fast Play narrator, it's a very sad day. Rest in peace to him. He will be missed. Yeah, and that's another one right there. The fact, like, another thing he has done. Yes, trailers. He definitely has that perfect announcery-like voice that is perfect for trailers. Oh, that's another good example. That's another great one right there. Let's see. Tom Kane was the voice of my childhood, from playing one of the best fathers in animation to playing Darwin, to him being mad as Monkey Fist, and the infuriating snobbiness of Harryman. I'll never forget his voice. I'll miss him like I miss Jeff Garcia. Just learning he died in my state makes me shocked. I hope his family is at peace. He's actually younger than my father. Yeah, honestly, same here. Like, it's kind of surprising. Like, he's also younger than my dad, and yet my dad is still up and kicking around, still highly active, and yet, it's unfortunate, man. It's sad. I'll say this now. He did not deserve it. He definitely did not deserve it. All right, let's see what other comments. This is definitely a tragic loss. Tom Kane was such a prolific voice actor who made a massive impact. For me, I'll definitely remember him as Professor Utonium in Powerpuff Girls, Yoda in the Clone Wars, and Darwin in the Wild Thornberrys. And I'll also remember him as the narrator for Disney Fast Play. And so all I have to say is rest in peace, Tom Kane, and may his legacy live on forever. Very nice, man. Very nice. Tom Kane was one of the best when it comes to the iconic voice actors. I love him as the professor, other Powerpuff Girls characters, and even voicing Yoda in the Clone Wars era. Even if I never met him, it's unfortunate he's now gone. We're all going to miss you, Tom Kane. May he rest in peace. Let's see. Oh, wow. We got definitely a lot more comments than I thought. Still got time to read a couple more. We have Brian Cummings and Mark Elliott and now Tom Kane as Disney announcers. Tom Kane is my favorite voice actor and it's so sad to see him go. I enjoy his voice as Professor Utonium in the Powerpuff Girls, did trailers for WALL-E and Up for Pixar, did Disney Fast Play, and many more. He will be missed and hopefully he will be in heaven with Mark Elliott. Nah, definitely, man. Definitely. Wherever Mark Elliott is, I'm sure Tom Kane is right behind him there. All right, I'll read. Let's see if there's one more comment to go and read here. All right. Who could think of a role that Tom Kane hasn't played? The 2000s were truly a golden era for him, especially with his work on Star Wars content and Lego video games. He gave depth to his characters, even when he replaced other actors. Characters like Professor Utonium and Monkey Fist became iconic because of their unique portrayals. Not everyone can match that level of impact. May the Force be with him, and forever in peace. Yeah, so definitely sad to see him go, but hopefully his voice will forever live on through the hundreds of characters and the hundreds of works that he has done, rather it be with the Disney parks, Disney Fast Play, in trailers, narration works, and many, many more. Hopefully we will never stop hearing his voice.